Welcome back, kiddos. This week we're looking at lesson 25, personal pronouns. And I'm sure the first thing that you're asking yourself is, what is a pronoun, Mrs. Huddleston? Well, I am so glad you asked because I'm going to start with that first. A pronoun is something that takes the place of a noun or a group of nouns. It's like a placeholder word. So in this sentence, Bones and Dusty played with Bones and Dusty's toys. That sounds really repetitive and really silly to keep repeating those words again when I can replace Bones and Dusty with their. Bones and Dusty played with their toys. That makes a lot more sense and it doesn't sound quite as repetitive if I just kept repeating their names. We have another example here. Mrs. Huddleston spoke to Mrs. Huddleston's students about Mrs. Huddleston's students' grammar lesson. That is just so ridiculous that it keeps repeating. So instead of repeating and repeating, we're going to replace those yellow phrases with some pronouns. Mrs. Huddleston spoke to her students about their grammar lesson. See, that makes a lot more sense and it doesn't sound quite as silly. Now, with pronouns, we have several different types, and this week we're going to be looking at our personal pronouns with subject pronouns and object pronouns. So a personal pronoun is something that replaces people or things in the sentence. Subject pronouns, which are a type of personal pronoun, are the subjects of the sentence. We see these a lot of times when we look at sentences for point of view in our literature lessons. So if we had a first person point of view sentence, we would be using I and we subject pronouns. Second person uses you, and third person uses he, she, it, and they. Okay, now here's the big thing. When we switch to object pronouns, even though we might be referring to the same person, those pronouns are going to change because subject pronouns are the types of words we use at the beginning of a sentence, but object pronouns would be towards the end of a sentence. Because object pronouns can be the direct object, an indirect object, or an object of a preposition. So when we're looking at point of view, those first person pronouns change into me and us. Second person stays you, yay for that one. But third person also changes. Him, her, it, and them. Now, yes, it stays the same, but the other three do change if they're towards the end of the sentence. Now, we're going to look at a comparison chart just so you can see how subject pronouns and object pronouns can be different. So as you can see, they do change depending on where they are in the sentence and how they're functioning in the sentence. Because the subject pronouns are who are doing something in the sentence, whereas the object of the pronouns, something's been done to them. Okay, so now we're going to look at some sentences and try to find these words in the sentence. In the morning, they walked to school. Can you find that pronoun? They. Now they, because they are doing something in the sentence, that would be a subject pronoun. And also just for funsies, that's also a third person point of view. So if you were asked in literature what point of view a story was written in, you would say third person because it's using a third person pronoun. Let's look at another sentence. I gave her a pencil. This sentence has two pronouns. The first one is our subject pronoun, I. I gave her a pencil. Now, we use I because it's at the beginning of the sentence and it's a subject pronoun. I would never say me gave her a pencil. That would be completely ridiculous. That's why those words matter of which form you're using. So I gave her a pencil, first person point of view, but I also have another pronoun, her. Her is a third person point of view, and it's also an object. Not that she's a thing, but something's been done to her. She has been given the pencil. So we use the word her to show that. Now, if you get this kind of sentence in a literature question and you see a first person point of view with I and a third person point of view with her, you have to think of who your narrator is. Who is the one talking and who is the one doing something? In this case, I am, and so I is a first person point of view, which would give this whole sentence to be first person. All right, let's look at this next sentence. At lunch, you could sit with a new student. He would appreciate a friend. All right, in this case, we have, again, two pronouns. Our first pronoun is in the first part of the sentence, you, which is a second person point of view pronoun, but it's also a subject pronoun because it's who's doing something in the sentence, you. We also have another subject pronoun because this happens to be a compound sentence. So after that semicolon, we have another subject, he. He would appreciate a friend. Again, that's a subject pronoun because he is doing something in the sentence. He would appreciate that friend. All right, so in this lesson, we've learned about first person, I, we, me, and us. We've learned about second person, you. We've learned about third person, he, she, it, they, him, her, it, and them. Oh, that's a lot of pronouns that we've learned about. But remember, the subject pronouns are the ones that are doing something in the sentence, whereas object pronouns have something done to them in the sentence. All right, good luck on your lesson this week. Bye, guys.